Thank you very much, everybody. It's now 12:02. Sorry for the slight delay, but we will be opening our meeting for the Joint Transportation Committee for Old Colony Planning Council. I first would like to read the accessibility statement, Title V non-discrimination statement. This meeting is being accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones, telephones will be used by all speakers. Large print material are available upon advance request. If you would like either of these accommodations, please contact Mary Walden at 508-583-1833, extension 202. Also, a notice of non-discriminational rights and protections to benefit with regards to the federal Title VI, non-discrimination protection of the Straits. Non-discrimination protection is posted in the meeting room and available on the Old Planning Council's website. Please contact Mary Walden at 508-583-1833, extension 202, if you need any of these accommodations. That being said, I'd like to open the meeting and call the order. Do we need to do a roll call to see if we have a quorum, Bill?
Sure, I can do it.
Okay.
Abington.
John Stone.
Thank you, John. Avon. Bridgewater.
Shane O'Brien, Town Planner.
Thank you, Sean. Shane, sorry. Brockton. Duxbury. East Bridgewater. Easton.
Greg Swan.
Thank you, Greg. Halifax. Hanover. I know I spoke to Rhonda earlier.
Can you hear me, Bill?
Yep. Thank you. Hanson. Kingston. Pembroke. Plymouth. Plimpton. Stoughton. West Bridgewater. And Whitman.
I'm here, of course.
Brockton Area Transit.
Glenn Geiler.
Thank you, Glenn. Anybody from GATRA? Okay, and anybody from MassDOT District 5? I know that there's a pre-PRC meeting today, so I know that MassDOT people are a little busy.
Yeah, I see Cheryl Ann Senior from District 5 in the
Okay,
attendees mode.
thank you. Hey, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you very much. First, next line, we'll have public comments. Does anyone wish to have any public comments? Hearing none, I would just like to say that myself, Dan Selvucci, as vice chair, is chairing this. Noreen our chair had another meeting to go to, could not make the meeting, so she asked me to chair it. So I just hope that we'll see her the next time anyway. Going on to 3 minutes, I need a motion to approve the minutes of November 3rd, 2022.
So moved.
Your motion.
I'll second that.
Hearing that, is there any comments on the meeting, on the minutes? Hearing none. Roll call vote to approve them. Bill?
Abington.
Brooke.
Avon. Bridgewater.
Yes.
Brockton. Duxbury. East Bridgewater. Easton. Halifax. Hanover.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Hanson. Kingston. Pembroke. Plymouth. Plimpton. Stoughton. West Bridgewater. Whitman.
Approve.
Thank you. And Brockton Area Transit.
Yes.
Thank you.
That it?
That's it.
Okay, next, item 4, communication, Sean.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item on the list is titled Tri Transit. Brockton Mayor Robert F. Sullivan and BAT Administrator Michael Lambert recently announced that from November 25th through December 31st, BAT's bus and paratransit services will be free, thanks in part to a grant included in the state budget and awarded by MassDOT. The program is designed to encourage new customers to try transit by offering no-cost trips for shopping, dining at local businesses, visiting friends or family, or commuting to work during the holiday season.
That is?
Nope, sorry, I pressed the wrong
Say-
button. The
That's
Tri
quick.
Transit Initiative will be supported by the state grant that was awarded to all 15 of the Commonwealth's regional transit authorities who work together to submit a joint application and plan for its implementation. The next item is a climate mitigation and adaptation primer for planners. It will be held December 16th at 1 p.m. Eastern. To register for this webinar, please click on the link in the staff report. The next item is the Old Colony Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee meeting, BPAC for short. It will be held December 16th at 1 p.m. To register, please click on the link in the staff report and join us as we discuss bicycle and pedestrian initiatives in the OCPC region. And here's a flyer regarding BAT's free service for the holiday season, going through or starting on November 25th, going through December 31st.
Very nice.
And yep, Charlie.
Yeah, so one of the things we wanted to mention as part of this communication staff report is please save the date. And if you haven't RSVP'd yet, there's still time to do that. The slide on your screen is for the 2022 Old Colony Planning Council Summit, December 8th from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Meadowbrook Restaurant in the town of Hanson. And this is an opportunity for folks to come together, collaborate, talk about planning, get to know one another, and engage on potential planning projects. And this is building upon the success of the Old Colony Planning Council's Expo held last December. So you're invited, and the email registration here is to email Megan Fournier at OCPC. It's mfournier@ocpcrpa.org. And we will have it on our website's calendar as well for more information, but we hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. I will see you there. Never would miss it.
Yeah.
Let's go on to reports. A, Brockton Area Transit. Mike?
So Michael's not able to join us,
Oh,
but
okay.
through the chair, I'd like to give Beth's update. So thank you so much, Sean, for that great reading of our press release about our Tri-Transit program. We're super excited to be able to offer free trips on both our fixed route and all of our paratransit services from now until the end of December. So please, if you haven't tried transit, BAT or GATRA, I know that they're not here today, but please check us out. That program does continue through the end of the year. So so check us out. Any questions, of course, let us know. We are also starting to roll out our micro transit service in the town of Rockland. So we're continuing to run our regular flex route now as we try to transition some of our current riders over to use our micro transit service. As we get some of the those riders all transitioned over to the new service, we'll have an official launch of our microtransit service in Rockland. And so we're also very excited about that. That's part of our workforce initiative CMAQ grant that we were awarded a few years ago. Obviously with COVID, it took us a little while to get things rolling there with new service, we're excited to launch it. The our microtransit app is available for download for both Apple and Android devices in the store. It's called BAT Flex. So feel free to check that out. Again, we're soft launching it, but it's available for you in the store. So check it out. And the last thing is just a note of thanks to Mary Waldron and her team, the DBA. We were so happy to be a part of the holiday celebration parade last Saturday, and our thanks to her for all of her hard work. It was a great celebration here in the city. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is B, GATRA Transit Authority report. Is there anyone here that can make that report?
I don't believe anyone from GATRA has joined us today, but just looking at their news portion of their website, as stated with the Tri-Transit portion of the communications staff report, GATRA is also offering free fares for their fixed route buses for the same dates that BAT is doing, November 25th through December 31st.
Wow.
And
Thank you very much.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Next is 5C, which is South Coast Rail. Sean?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. As everyone's aware, and for anybody who may not be aware, South Coast Rail is going to restore commuter rail service between Boston and the South Coast, connecting cities that have not had commuter rail service, such as the cities of Taunton, Fall River, and New Bedford. Phase 1 is currently in progress. They will provide a 1-seat ride by extending the existing Middleborough-Lakeville commuter rail line to Taunton and then south to Fall River, New Bedford, and it is expected to be completed by the end of 2023. During the last month, some of the work that was conducted was fencing installation in 8 communities on the secondary lines and main lines. Continued shoulder closure on Route 140 south in Taunton for curb and sidewalk installation, track work in Berkeley, overnight road work in Taunton, and daytime and nighttime road work on Route 105 in Middleborough and Route 140 in New Bedford. And I also wanted to mention that on this coming Monday, December 5th at 9:30 a.m., MassDOT and the MBTA are hosting a ribbon cutting ceremony at the recently completed Freetown station. And here is the announcement from MassDOT and the MBTA, and you can click on the link to RSVP to that event. And that is all I have for South Coast Rail.
Thank you very much. Next, old business 6, the fiscal year 2023 to 2027 Transportation Improvement Program implementation. Bill, this is on yours.
Yep. So this is a update on the existing current federal fiscal year 2023 to 2027 Transportation Improvement Program. I do have one update on projects, so I won't go through all the projects. I'm actually going to mention all the projects in my next item. So, but on your screen there, you can see the town of Stoughton. The end of October, 100% design plans were received for the Route 138 improvement project. Basically, more or less runs from the Canton Town line down to just north of the square. So it's a sizable project. And as such, as you might expect, there was a substantial price increase when the 100% came in. It increased from about 12 million and change when it was at the 75% design. Now it's up to 16,444,000 and change. The good news is, so this is a advanced construction project. So we have this programmed. We have phase 1 program 2023, and then phase 2 in 2024. And we do have room under the cap in 2024 to accommodate this increase. So that is good news. So it's just right now, it's just to kind of keep you all updated. There will obviously this cost increase is well beyond the threshold for a TIP amendment and action by the MPO. We do not, we anticipate that taking that action later this spring, probably in April or May, be around that time frame. We be going to the MPO for a amendment on this, but right now it's just kind of keep you updated. So yeah, that's a cost increase, and that's the only update on the current tip that I have. And if you want to go to the next page, Sean, and next one. Okay, and there you can see the year 2, 2024. I didn't bother to update the actual amount that would be carrying over in 2024 because that's likely to change. But you can just see right now the total cost is 16,444,500 or so over the 2 years. And that's all I have on this. Any questions or comments?
No, I guess not, Bill. Say none. I guess we move on to item 7, new business, development of the fiscal year 2024-2028 transportation improvement program. Bill again.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this time of year, December or January is when we start to set our sights on the next tip year. So looking at developing 2024 to 2028. So this time of year, I like to kind of touch base with this committee and giving an idea of what the universe of projects we have right now. Universe of projects meaning projects that have gone through PRC and have been approved, and they're in various stages of design. Some very early in the design process, they just went through PRC, and some fairly well advanced. So in some programs. So I'll briefly go through town by town and give you an update on each one. Brief update. I'm not going to touch on the details of each one. So down to Abington, intersection improvements at Hancock Street and Chestnut Street. That is currently programmed in 2026, and that is at a 25% design stage. On to the next. Abington and Brockton pedestrian and bicycle improvements on Route 123. This is at the 25% design stage. It is currently unprogrammed. Abington intersection improvements at Randolph Street and Richard Fitz Drive, which is Route 139, at Chestnut Street and Randolph Street. This was PRC approved about a year ago, and it's currently not programmed. And finally in Abington, intersection improvements at Route 18 and Route 123. This is the newest PRC approval in the town of Abington, and that is currently not programmed, and that's in the initial design stages. In Avon, we have intersection improvements at Route 28, Spring Street, and Harrison Boulevard. This project is currently in the preliminary design stage, and a notice to proceed was actually initiated on this project. I think this project might be a design build project. I'm not entirely sure. So sometimes design build is a little different than other projects, which would be why NPC was issued. But nevertheless, Avon corridor improvements on Route 28. This program is in the initial design stages and is currently not programmed. In Brockton, intersection improvements and related work at Center Street and Carey Street and Lyman Street. Right now we have this project programmed in federal fiscal year 2024, and the 25% package was recently resubmission was received last year for this project. Brockton, Route 123, there's a Center Street at Plymouth, and intersection improvements. So this one is also programmed in 2024, and it is at the 25% design stage. Brockton, improvements and related work at Crescent Street at the intersection of Grove Street and the Grove Street Bridge.
Finally.
This is programmed in 2025, and it's at the 25% design stage. Intersection improvements at Crescent Street and Massasoit Boulevard. This Quincy Street and Massasoit Boulevard. Actually, I think I have this wrong. On my staff report, I added 2025. Actually, I think it's 2027. So that's a typo, but it is programmed, but it's in the preliminary design stage, pre 25% design. Brockton and Abington, pedestrian and bicycle improvements on Route 123. I actually talked about this when I talked about Abington. Intersection improvements, Route 123 in Stonehill Street. This is an initial design stage and currently not programmed. And the and improvements on Forest Ave. This is currently not programmed. Going on to Town of Duxbury, signal installation at Route 3 at the Route 3 ramp at the Route 3A Tremont Street ramps. Next page. This right now is programmed in 2026 and it's in the initial design stage. Also in Duxbury, this is a bridge replacement, the Paddle Point Bridge. This is a mega project, if you will. It's advanced construction over a 4-year period due to its very high cost. But that right now, that's the first year of advanced construction program for 2027. And also in Duxbury, bridge replacement, Route 3 over Franklin Street, that is programmed for this year, 2023. And PSNE was received by MassDOT last month, and that project is moving forward. East Bridgewater, intersection improvements at Bedford Street and West Street. Bedford Street, West Street, and East Street. So that's Route 18 at Route 106. This is currently not programmed. It's in the initial design stage. Also in East Bridgewater, intersection improvements at Highland Street. At Route 18 and Highland Street. This is in the initial design stage and currently not programmed. Easton, corridor improvements on Route 138. This is programmed in federal fiscal year 2025 as of right now, and it's at the 25% design stage. Also in Easton, continuing resurfacing related work on Route 138. This is currently not programmed in its initial design stage. Improvements on Foundry Street. This is also in the initial design stage and currently not programmed. Reconstruction and related work on routes 138 and Route 123 from Belmont Street to Depot Street. Also in the initial design stage and currently not programmed. In Hanover, corridor improvements on Route 139 and Main Street, Center Street, and Silver Street. So this is in the town center, right by Town Hall. This is in the initial design stage. It was approved by PRC earlier this year, and it's currently not programmed. In Hanson, corridor improvements on Route 14. This is advanced construction beginning in 2026 and year 2 in 2027. MassDOT submitted comments on 25% design a couple of years ago. Kingston, there's a bridge replacement project, Smith's Lane over Route 3A. This is in the initial design stage and it's currently not programmed. Plimpton, the bridge replacement over the Winnetoxet River. This is in federal fiscal year 2024. It's in the initial design stage right now. Stoughton, corridor improvements on Route 138, phases 1 and 2. Spoke about that in the last report. That phase year 1 is this year, 2023. Year 2 is 2024. That's at 100% design. Stoughton still intersection improvements at at Center Street, Canton Street and Tosca Drive. That is in this current fiscal year. And 100%, that project is 100% design. Stoughton reconstruction of Turnpike Street. This project is a 25% design. It's currently not programmed. And Stoughton Canton Street at intersection improvements at Canton Street at School Street. This is in the initial design stage and currently not programmed. So that's the universe of projects that we have right now for this region. So I'll if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them right now. But so in the next month or two, I'll be reaching out to communities and project proponents, inviting them to come to this committee and speak on behalf of their projects. I always encourage communities to keep their projects moving forward, keep design active, because you never know, when, the tip is gonna, the tip is fluid, it shifts around. Sometimes projects get delayed for whatever reason. Sometimes projects advance more quickly than anticipated because the design's moving forward. So, absolutely, keep your projects active, stay in touch with us, stay in touch with MassDOT. And if you, we finally, if you have projects in your communities that you want to see go through the tip, by all means, initiate those projects. MassDOT makes it really easy with their Map It project intake tool. That's a fairly easy way to initiate a project and get it going. So yep, this kind of kicks off an exciting tip development year, and you'll be hearing a lot more from me on this in the coming months. So.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Does anybody have any comments or questions? I have
Mr.
one.
Chair,
Bill. All right, thank you. Go ahead, right
Mr.
ahead.
Chair, can you hear me? This is
Yep.
Rhonda from Hanover.
Hi, Rhonda.
Bill, just a question, just a question and a comment. I just want to again say thank you for all your work in the town of Hanover, setting up the counters, the studies, the reports, all that kind of thing. We really, truly appreciate all your efforts and everything. And I'm sure it's not an easy undertaking for everybody, but just so thank you. But what does it mean when you say it's currently not programmed? Could you just explain that to me?
Oh, yeah. Yep, absolutely. So the TIP is a 5-year program. So this one that we're developing, it'll start in federal fiscal year 2024, carry through 2028. And so each one of those years we have a basically an allocated amount of available program funds that we can program projects. So it's about 13 million and change any given year as of right now. So when it's programmed, that means that we've slotted it in one of those years. So like that, when I started the tip discussion off, like that Stoughton project, that was it's programmed for 2023 and 2024. So in that case, that was a project that the total project cost exceeded exceeded our cap, what's available in a given year. So in that case, that's an advanced construction. So we program what's likely going to be spent on construction in year 1, and then the rest in year 2. When it's programmed, it just means that it's in one of those 5 years of the tip. The things that sometimes people get confused on is, so say right now we have a project in 2025. Sometimes you can make the false assumption that that's locked in, that it's going to go in 2025 no matter what. But
Right.
The project proponent needs to keep it moving forward. It needs the design has to advance, and it has to get up to 100% design. And so sometimes projects will sometimes for whatever reason they'll run into snags. I think Hanson is a good example of that right now. Route 14, there's a utility issue on that roadway. That's kind of a big obstacle to get around right now, and moving that project forward. So sometimes stuff like that happens, but so basically, so if it's programmed, it's in one of those 5 years of the tip, and then if it's not programmed, it just means it's waiting for a spot on the tip. So
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. Yeah,
Yep.
thanks. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. I
Okay.
don't want to take up too much of your time.
Oh, no.
certainly, But yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you for your input.
You're welcome.
Okay.
My pleasure.
Thank you for your question.
Okay.
Next on the agenda is, I get my cat out of the way, is our impact crash portal. Ray, that's you?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we put together a brief presentation and a brief demo on Massachusetts, Mass DOT's crash portal. It's called Impact, which stands for Interactive Mapping Portal for Analysis and Crash Tracking. Specifically, we're going to be talking about how Old Colony Planning Council uses Impact. Because this interactive tool it does so much, and it's really, I want to emphasize, it's very user-friendly for easy data extraction, but it also does more complex processes for cross tabulation, or if someone knows SQL, which is kind of a programming language, you can actually use that. So the data extraction is very flexible, and you can download the data in PDF or Excel, and also in a form. If you most people use Excel for spreadsheet, you can actually use CSV if you have a different type of spreadsheet. So it's very user friendly. Can you advance to our presentation, please? This came out kind of small, but this is basically how the Mass DOT, what they do with traffic crash records. They collect them from, actually the Department of Motor Vehicles collects them, and they're from local police reports as well as state police, and they put them in a central place, and they do quality control, and then they make it available to the public. So this has been a long ongoing project for Mass DOT to get in, to use electronic reporting. So we have 350 police departments, and to get reporting from, and they're all in small to large, and some, I don't know how many do electronic reporting, but they've been improving that every year. They've been getting more and more police departments to report electronically. They put that in a central place, and they put an XY coordinates on it. They do quality control to make sure they're accurate, and then they cross tabulate it with. They assign a crash number to it, and they cross tabulate it with the locals to make sure they have it accurately, and then they make it available to the public. Previously, they used to give us data, a lot of data in one big lump, but now they have it online, which is much more easier to use, and the general public can use it. Next slide, please. Next slide. That's because that wasn't on the slide. This is the one I was looking for. Okay, thank you. So go back, please. Yeah, this is better to look at. So this kind of shows what the process is like. As I said, the Mass DOT gets all the data in one place. They do quality control. They assign an XY coordinate, and it goes into their impact portal, which is has a map interface, and they make it available to the public online. Okay, next please. And there's a link you can go to, and it'll take you right to that portal. Next please. And this is what you'll see, and it gives you a lot of choices. You can do interactive dashboards, and if you look to the right, that's kind of a little bit of what you'll see on the dashboards. They have charts and they have statistics. And you can interact with that, and you can ask for the entire state, or you can ask for the regional planning agency or a community or a local road. It'll give you these statistics. The next one is data query and visualization. That's what Old Colony uses a lot because it has the map interface, and we can actually pinpoint intersections or road corridors and make a buffer and extract all the crashes that we want. And we can download an Excel file, all those crashes. And plus they have an XY coordinate, so we can give them to our GIS with the XY coordinates, and we can make maps with them. And I'll show a little bit later in the presentation how that works. Data extraction, you can just ask for number of crashes for a data dump, which is what we used to do in the old days, just ask them for crashes in a town, and they will send it to your email. And they also have reports. They're pre-built-in reports that you can use. And for more advanced and complex data extraction, you can do cross tabulations, and there's other tools that you can explore. Next, please. This is just what you'll see just for data extraction, and you can see that you put in your email address, and you can put in the start years, the end year, the municipality. These are some of the options that you have, and the file format would be an Excel, would be XLSX, or it could be CSV if you don't have Excel, or a PDF. So this is just a very simple data request, and they'll send it to your email. Next, please. And they also have a caveat here because they do quality control. And so the latest 3 years, they're usually the latest 3 years they're still working on, although they make those crashes available. You can see that for the years after 2019, they're subject to change. So they haven't what they call closed them out yet. But the crashes before that, they're pretty accurate. But they're still working on the ones that are over 2019. They may have some that they want that somehow didn't get included there, or they don't have the correct XY, or they're just going through quality control, but they still make those crashes available. Next, please. And these are the fields, and they have a lot of fields. You can see these are derived from the information that's given to the DMV from the police reports or from crash reports. There's a lot of information about the crashes, and from these fields we try to get patterns of crashes. Next, please. There's more of the fields that are there. You know, location, the type of crash, the vehicle involved, the characteristics of the weather, all those important information, the characteristics of the road or the intersection, time of day, things like that. Next, please.
Look at that information.
And this is what the police departments, this is from where those fields are derived and from the information is input. So when someone gets into a crash, police officer is going to use this this form. And so I believe that some police do have it electronically, so they can fill it out electronically. I don't believe all the police departments have it, but they're working on that to get more of the police departments up to date. And there's 42 fields here that the police officer has to fill in. So they're trying to give us data, but the officers obviously they have other things to contend with too, especially if someone was injured or if there was a citation. So they try to make it as quickly and painlessly as possible for the to get the data. But there is a lot of data involved in a vehicle crash. Next, please. So what we do is we go to this query type. You can do the basic search again. You can do spatial search, which is what I use a lot because it's based on the map. or you can do an advanced search. Next, please. This is, again, the basic search where you would put in the information that you need, and it would give you an Excel file, and then you could download the Excel file directly. The other one I showed earlier was that you would request it and they would send it to your email. This one is almost the exact same thing, and you can pinpoint what you want, but you can actually bring up the Excel file with all the data on it, and then you just tell it, download it, and it'll download right to your computer. So this is a real quick and easy way to get data from the portal. You just have to fill out the basic filters of what you're looking for. And you can see you can do it by city or town, you can do it by regional planning agency, or district, or Mass DOT district. Next, please. And this is the more advanced. So I showed you the basic, I showed you the advanced. And this is, if you know SQL, which is structured query language, it's computer language itself. If you're that, you can do some more complex data extraction. Next, please. And this is what we use all the time, which is a spatial search, which is a godsend because we can actually, this intersection shows an intersection in Abington at Randolph Street and North Ave and Route 18. So we can ask it to draw a buffer of 150 feet around an intersection, and all those dots represent places where crashes occurred. It could be a one crash or it could be a couple of crashes. And that's within the period from 2019 to 2022. So, and what's great about this is that you notice that there's Wales Street, which is a side street intersection with North Ave. And some of those dots are associated with that intersection, and some might be associated with North Ave. So how do we know where the cutoff point is on North Ave with those crashes that might be associated with North Ave and Route 18? What we do, we can actually put the cursor over each point, and it'll tell you about that crash, and you can make a decision whether you want it included in your data dump, because it might be associated with, say, Will Street. So that's where, if you see on the right where it says draw shape type, you can do a line. You can actually draw a line instead of just asking it to draw a buffer. You can actually draw your own line and buffer it yourself. Usually we use, as a rule of thumb, we use 150 feet. Next, please. And this is just an example of the data dump, and it doesn't actually show all the fields because it's so enormous. It's really large, and it shows you all the fields and what goes into those fields, whether the crash was property damage only or non-fatal injury. It has a crash date, the age of the drivers, and etc. Next, please. This is an example of how Old Colony Planning Council put this data to use. This map and this graph was in our freight study. And what we did was we pulled out all the crashes in the Old Colony region that heavy vehicles were involved in. So on the map on the left shows approximately 1,200 crashes, and it actually has crashes by town. Brockton had the most truck crashes, almost 300. And it shows crashes by year too. Those are all crashes that involved a heavy vehicle, a truck. And then on the right, I made a table that pulled out from that data set. I pulled out approximately just over 200 of those 1,200 crashes. And those were instances where a truck hit a fixed object. It might have hit a parked car or a signpost. And the reason why I pull those out is because, especially in Brockton, there's a lot of instances where trucks are, where the turning radii is not sufficient. And the trucks would hit a post or a sign or a parked car. And then also this truck crashes with bridge overhead. And we can also look in the towns and see how many times a truck hit a bridge overhead and note those locations that are problematic. Brockton again had the most with 11. And surprisingly, Kingston had 6. And what we did was we went back in the data and we say, well, there's one particular location, Landing Road in Kingston, where I believe 4 of those 6 crashes in that time period happened at that one MBTA crossing over Landing Road. So we can pinpoint, where the problematic intersections are and what the patterns of the crashes are. And also we can also monitor truck crashes with pedestrians, which never, if someone gets hit by a truck, it's usually not very good. Doesn't have a great turnout for the pedestrian. And luckily there were no fatalities, but there were 7 of them from between 2018 and 2021. And thank God there were no fatalities. The same with bicycle crashes, although there were only 2, it's too many. And they did not result in a fatality, which is a good thing. Next, please. This is just another example of how we can use this. How we can use this tool. It's a wonderful, flexible tool. Recently we did a road safety audit in Stoughton, Low Ave area at Pleasant Street. And those dots represent, those yellow dots on the left represent crash locations. It could be one crash, or sometimes crashes happen in the same location, so the dot will represent 2 or 3 crashes. And you can see on the right, the charts that it'll make these different charts very flexible. You can download these charts. There were 7 crashes, and I had a buffer of 150 feet. And although I don't show it later on, I increased that buffer because some of the crashes that were in the vicinity of Oakland Street and Low Ave, there were actually more. We expanded it to 13 because there was a queue backing up on Pleasant Street. And although the crashes were associated with Pleasant Street at Central Street, because that queue was all the way backed up to these intersections, cars didn't have a chance to stop for the cars back. They were having rear end crashes here. And so we actually pinpointed a spot where a lot of rear end crashes were happening at this location, even though the cause was further down the street. Next,
And Ray,
please.
wasn't there one pedestrian accident as well?
There was, and that is actually near Oakland Street. So we increased the that's when we increased the buffer. We caught that crash, that accident too, because it was a little bit further than 150 feet from Low Ave. Next, please. This is another example of how we can extract the data in our Route 18 corridor study. We can just get a snapshot of the crashes along Route 18 and where they're happening, and we can make different charts. Again, you can see the chart on the right, the types of crashes. You see as in the town of Bridgewater at Central Square, 84 crashes associated with all those intersections and the square itself. And then as you get north of Central Square, north of Main Street, there's a small section there. We have 164 crashes. It's a high crash area there. You go further up, the stretch of the road is a little bit less, 40. Next, please. Another example of how we use this crash data. We cross-tabulate it with local. We ask the local police for reports, and we download the data from Mass DOT, and we also we cross-tabulate it with the local police to make sure we haven't left anything out. We created these ourselves using PowerPoint collision diagrams that we use as a standard operating procedure in our road safety audits. Next, please. And we have the link here, and we're going to do a quick demo. And Sean's going to assist me because he is actually in control of the dashboard here.
So 1 second.
If you can bring that up.
Can you guys see the impact table?
Yeah, yes, we can.
Yes.
You can enter as a guest. That's what he's doing. You don't have to make an account. You can go as a guest, or he just signed in because he has an account. And he can just click one thing. He's doing all the details, all the fields.
Yeah. Would you like to do a spatial
Yeah,
search?
so we go to query
Yeah.
type, and then we do spatial search, and that brings up our map.
There we go.
You can zoom right into wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I figured just maybe since we're in Brockton, can maybe just do, right
Sure, yeah,
outside
right.
of right outside
building,
our
yeah.
office. And as Ray said in the presentation, you can draw a point, you can draw a line, or select an area. We just to show what it can do. We have the point, can just drop it right outside of OCPC's office at Montello and School Street. Do a 150-foot buffer, as Ray said. That's kind of our standard buffer that we do around intersections or corridors. And then, as you can see, it drew the buffer, and then all of these red dots are accidents. And then we hit the visualize results. And in a 150-foot buffer around Montello and School Street from January 1st, 2019 to present day, there were total of 34 crashes.
And then from there, you can see the Excel file or the spreadsheet file down there. He can download that. He can or you can make different charts, or he can just export to Excel, export to PDF or CSV, and you've just captured all those crashes. And then also he can make different, there's a little chart tools down there where he could change the chart, and he could, right now it's by crash severity. It tells you all the fatals and the non-fatals or not reported. And if he goes to choose the chart domain, you can go by age of drivers, or it's got all different fields he can put in there. What were the light conditions, the crash hour? So you can try to get some patterns. Distraction, is there one for distraction? Because you could see if this distraction was a
I thought there was.
Yeah,
it's probably telephone.
yeah,
Cell
yeah,
phone.
because that's been a recurring problem. But thank God we do have the new law, that the hands-free law.
Yeah,
But
I'm not
that's-
seeing it as an option on here, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that is one of the.
We might have not loaded it in the beginning. I'm not sure, but that's okay. But you can see all the fields there.
Yeah,
You
so
could-
like here's one that says driver contributing circumstances, and
But
this kind
driver
of goes back.
distraction by all, yeah. There's one
This-
right there. Driver
here we go.
distraction. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So you can actually do that. You can see.
Like this,
Manually
like
operating
this one,
electronic device. Yeah, there you go.
or this one says external distraction outside the vehicle, or this one, the passenger was the distraction.
Yeah. So there's so much you can do with this tool. I mean, this is, for us, the easiest way, the way that we use it the most. We also download this, like this Excel file will have Excel coordinates. So if we wanted to make other maps, although we have maps right here and we have charts, we can give it to our GIS manager, and he can make maps for us from there too. So it's very flexible, very user-friendly, and we're glad we have it. I'm glad we have it now. Yeah. So
That it, Ray?
I think that's it. If anyone has any questions or comments, thank you, Sean. Sean's been very helpful.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Go back to
Yeah, Mike.
the presentation.
And, we have the
Okay,
impact.
after my
forum
meeting,
link.
okay, bye. Okay. Thank you. Very
welcome.
interesting, Ray.
Yep.
It tells you which intersections to stay away from.
Yeah,
when you're driving.
exactly.
We'll go to item number C, Old Colony 2050 Long Range Transportation Plan. Bill?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So just a quick update where we are with the LRTP. So right now we're coordinating with MassDOT. We're gonna have at least one, hopefully two focus group meetings, focused specifically on mobility challenges in the region to focus on in this 2050 LRTP plan. So these are different than the typical public engagement meeting. These are be more focus group oriented, so specific audience, specific invitation list. So right now we're coordinating our first one with Brockton Area Transit, and that'll be taking place either later, probably January. Looking at my own schedule, but either later this month or January, and we're still looking to schedule another one with another group in the region that represents populations with specific challenges and needs. So that's happening. And the other thing is the public survey that I talked about last meeting. We're launching that very soon, probably in the next week or so. So stay tuned on that. You'll all be getting a notice to invitation to participate in that survey. And right now, that's my update on the LRTP. If anyone has any questions.
Any questions for Bill? Hearing none or seeing none, thank you very much, Bill. Move on to item number 8, community local technical assistance. Bill, you're up again.
Yeah, thank you. So I have a few project updates. It was a busy month. We wrapped up a few things this month. So town of Kingston, we did a traffic study looking at the number of cars going into the Kingston commuter rail station over a 1-week period, looking at both weekday and weekend. So that it's been completed. We're just wrapping up a few details with the town, but otherwise completed. The in the town of East Bridgewater, we completed a traffic study for Route 106 and Bridge Street and the surrounding area. In Stoughton, Ray spoke of this a moment ago. We did a walkability and pedestrian safety audit for Pleasant Street at Lower Avenue. And finally, town of Whitman, we did some traffic counts that were requested by that town. So it was a good month. We wrapped up a few projects, and that is what I have for my update.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Bill? Seeing none, move on to item B, staff review on the ENFs, EIRs, and the NPCs. Kyle?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sean, you can go to the next page. We have one new project. It's a notice of project change for the town of Plymouth, light station mixed sediment berm. There's 3 changes. The first one is the preferred alternative for the shoreline protection is a beach compatible mixed sediment berm backed by a low crest revetment. Second change, the site recommended for the material and equipment storage area is located in an upland area outside of the Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program jurisdiction. Number 3 is the upland drainage improvements along the bluff crest are proposed to ensure that overland flow does not exacerbate bluff face erosion. Then we have a bunch of certificates. First is Kingston, the Comprehensive Wastewater Management Plan. The certificate states that the project adequately and properly complies with NEPA. Next, for the town of Rainham, the Rainham Park redevelopment. Certificate states that the project does not adequately and properly comply with NEPA. Next is for the town of Easton, Owl Ridge Estates. Certificate states that the project adequately and properly complies with NEPA. Next is the town of Plymouth, Long Beach Mixed Sediment Nourishment. Certificate states that this project adequately and properly complies with NEPA. And finally, we have a public notice, the town of Duxbury, application for a 401 water quality certificate. So the application is filed by Mass Highway Division. You can go to the next page, Sean. This is for the replacement of the two existing bridges for Route 3 northbound and southbound of Franklin Street. So this requires the shifting of the northbound bridge and lane approaches west into the median. So this is resulting in permanent wetland fill as well as temporary impacts during the construction phase. And that completes my report from NEPA.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Kyle? Saying none, we move on to item C, regional concerns of local community transportation issues. Does anyone have any? Any comments of anything? Wow, seeing none, I want to thank everyone for that, and I assume we will see everybody on the 8th in Hanson for our Christmas gathering. And I guess I'll need a motion to adjourn. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
There a second? Enough said. Okay, we'll see everybody. Have a very good holiday.
You as well, thanks.
Thank you. You
Take
too.
care.
You
Thank you,
too.
you too.
Okay, see you on
Happy
the 8th.
holidays.
Happy
Bye.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.